Hello and welcome to the weekend at Royal Porthcawl. It is Saturday at the 2025 AIG Women's Open and normal service has resumed in South Wales. The sun is out again, the winds have dropped. It's an absolutely glorious day here in Glamorgan. I'm Catherine Downs, out on the range with Big Randy from the No Laying Up podcast and former LET pro, now broadcaster, Sophie Walker. This is more like it, isn't it?
It's amazing. I truly never thought I'm hot, you know, the sun's shining. I have this sweatshirt on. It's incredible. What a day it is, Sophie.
I had to ask the producer, can I wear my sunglasses or not today? All we knew about this golf course is that Seniors Open, where we saw Alex Checker wrapped up, freezing cold, winning. And it's been absolutely glorious here this week, but still challenging conditions with this wind.
I've got the outfit wrong every single day. Apart from day one, had the shorts, the t-shirt, that was perfect. Yesterday, shorts, freezing. Today, I've gone with leggings, boiling.
Same.
Just cannot get it right.
Let me know what you wear tomorrow, because I'll do the opposite.
You'll do the opposite.
Yeah, I'm going to base it off you.
Well, apparently there is some rain coming in tomorrow, so we still might get those Senior Open scenes that we had a few years ago when Royal Porthcawl hosted the seniors. But today it's going to be absolutely glorious. Yesterday was a day of two completely opposite halves. The morning starters had the very best of the conditions, calm winds, beautiful sunshine, and then this band of cloud rolled in. The wind picked up. By the end of the afternoon, we had gusts of up to 35 miles an hour, and that really caused some problems for those afternoon starters. We were discussing, weren't we, in our coverage yesterday, how level par was a really good score in yesterday's conditions. So when you look down the leaderboard, there was some brilliant golf played in some very testing conditions.
There was 2 shots difference between the side of the draw. So if you were off in the morning on the first day and in the afternoon on the second day, your average was 2 shots worse. And I did a couple of calculations. I get it, only 5 players inside the top 20 were on that bad side of the draw. So hey, that's links golf.
That just goes to show, doesn't it? But if we look at the leaderboard, we have Ryota Takeda and Mio Yamashita, who will be playing in the final group out today on Saturday. They tee off at 35 minutes past 2, so 25 minutes to 3, whichever way you want to look at that one. Ryota Takeda at 8 under par, 3 shots behind her countrywoman Mio Yamashita, who is at 11 under par. And I think we should open the show this morning really by reflecting on what a remarkable round of golf that was. A bogey-free 65, 7 under par. Sophie is the pro. What did you make of that?
Very, very, very impressive. And Charlie Hull said it greatly in the interview at the end. How the hell is she 11 under par? And that's the feeling, because that score of 65 didn't really seem to be out there. Putted lights out, 26 putts, hit 82% of fairways in regulation. But this is her 9th bogey-free round of the season on the LPGA Tour. So players will know who she is, but people watching at home might be thinking, well, who is this player? Very, very good. That is just the Japanese as a whole at the moment are wonderful. They're winning major championships. It seems like we're getting 1 or 2 major champions from Japan a year in the women's game. And playing alongside her friend Rio, they just went out there, you know, Friday morning in Wales. Shall we have a knock? Let's links golf. You know, I've only played it a couple of times, but it seems all right.
How much does it help playing alongside a buddy, do you think, Randy?
I mean, I think it has to help tremendously. There's just that extra comfort factor, you know, especially on this side of the world. They can communicate in their native language. I think it would help a great deal, and for them to get paired together in this round 3, that same comfort level is going to be there.
And Ryota Takeda was impressive herself, wasn't she? She had a double bogey at the turn, but then 4 birdies in her last 7 holes, also making the most of those benign conditions yesterday morning.
I'm a big fan of Rio. I actually tipped her last week for the Scottish Open, and she didn't win, and that was probably my fault. So I didn't tip her this week. She's number 1 on Rookie of the Year on the LPGA Tour, winner down in China earlier this year, and ball strikes her face off, as you guys say. She's second in ball striking, and that's where these 2 players, they change. So you've got Yamashita, who's all about the short game, great at putting. Then you've got Takeda, who's ball striking, but this week that putter is hot, and if you're going to win one of these AIG Women's Open, or any major, in fact, it does need to be hot. She came second at the US Open. These players have had great careers over in Japan, and they're just coming over here, transitioning so well. And we spoke to a caddy, Ken Herring, an Englishman, Leicester City fan, so our Ian Carter will be very pleased about that.
We can forgive him that. Yeah.
And he says, look, she's not that used to links golf, but the good thing about Rio is she learns, and she learns really quickly.
So the two of them then must be 1 and 2 on the Rookie of the Year standings. I mean, and here they are 1 and 2 at the AIG Women's Open. What does that tell you about the rookies that are coming through on the women's tour at the moment?
As they said about Roseanne at the Solheim Cup, she ain't no rookie. And we have to open our eyes to the world of golf and realise that it's just not about the LPGA Tour. The Japan Tour and the Korean Tour, very strong. We know about the European Tour, but these players are coming over and playing on the LPGA, and they're already in the top 30 in the world.
Impressive.
And I think beyond that, just to add to that, Sophie, there is something to be said about they've closed golf tournaments on the Japanese LPGA. I think that's no small thing. It's not like this is, while it is a new position, perhaps in the AIG Women's Open forum, they understand what it takes. They've been in that position, and I think that's part of what gives specifically these Japanese women such a leg up when they get to the LPGA Tour as rookies. They have that experience. They've been in pressure situations before.
And they have seen people before them winning. Shibunu at Woburn, Shibono won there. Then you've got Yuka Sasso, 2-time US Open champion, Ayaka Fudaway winning at Evian. And then this year, we've already had a Japanese winner in Mal Saigo at the first major of the year. That's their peers, it's their friends, it's people that they practice alongside with, been on training camps, probably played junior golf together. It's like, well, if you can do it, I can do it.
We'll be speaking to Japanese golf specialist Louis Meadows here on the programme in just a few moments' time. So we'll be asking him, what's going on in Japan and how are they producing these absolute superstars. You're listening to AIG Women's Open Radio. This coverage also across BBC Sounds on BBC 5 Sports Extra and on the RNA YouTube channel as well, where live coverage of Saturday at the AIG Women's Open will start after we finish here on the range at midday. So we've got you covered across audio, TV, online, wherever you're watching this sunny Saturday. I'd like to look just a little bit further. Yeah.
Sorry, I know you were going to move on, but I told Sophie before we went live, I'm going to put you on a spot.
Oh, here
I have a question for you, if you don't mind, Kat.
No, go for it.
So I think it's an interesting question about Miyu Yamashita specifically. I have a few questions for you, Sophie.
Okay.
Would you like to have a 3-shot lead at the 36-hole mark of a tournament? And I know that can sound like an awkward question, but I do think there's a discussion around the pressure of having a lead, trying to close over 2 days, or would you rather be in a chasing position? I think it's a interesting dynamic that we find ourselves in, and that's where I think having Rio, a good friend of hers, kind of up near the lead, I almost think these two might be able to draft off each other a little bit. So I guess my question is, it's a heck of a position for me. I have to feel like she's going to feel a lot of pressure.
It is. She's sharing the burden of Japanese golf with Rio. If you look at the past winners of this AIG Women's Open, they've been 5 or more back. That's crazy stats to have. You always want to be ahead of everybody else. After 36 holes, 54, and then 72. You want to be playing the best golf you can. You want to be in that position. 3 shots clear is massive, absolutely
just
massive.
In to say Charlie Hull's walking along behind us, deep in conversation on her telephone as she heads to go through her warm-up on the range. Charlie Hull teeing off at 11:45 alongside the Austrian Emma Spitz. She's at level par. Sorry, Sophie, just wanted to bring a bit of colour from the range. Of course,
No.
We'll always be talking about Charlie. She's still having a chat on the phone as she's getting the balls out and getting ready to hit them. She's just so extraordinary.
Would I want a 3-shot lead? Yes, I mean, obviously any pro golfer would be. I'm not sure how Yamashita has won all her tournaments, because some people are better front runners than chasers. You know, if you look at Gino Titican, for me, she's a chaser. And then if you look at Nelly Korda, she's someone that likes to be at the top of the leaderboard. So it depends on who you are in terms of your competitiveness. But it's tiring, what you would say, in the sense that she would have finished at about lunchtime yesterday and has had to sleep on that lead, take it all in. She will be hoping that the weather stays kind to her. Everybody else chasing wants that 3 or 4 club wind again, like we saw yesterday.
It's going to put a really interesting dynamic, isn't it, onto this third day of the AIG Women's Open. The leaders teeing off at 25-3. Let's just take you out somewhere else here at Royal Porthcawl. Marcus Buckland is out exploring the grounds. Marcus, where are you?
Good morning, Kat. I'm on the short game, short grass. Loving the fact that we've been getting up close and personal with, amongst others, Charlie Hull, who, as you said just now, has gone back onto the range. But just a few moments ago, she was in the bunker, just behind where I am standing with Flick Johnson. And a little later, this is going to be worth listening to. Flick's going to give us a bunker lesson. And I need a bunker lesson. But first things first, Flick, just describe the atmosphere down here in the short game area.
Yeah, good morning. It's a beautiful morning down here. We've just had Charlie Hull playing some bunker shots in front of us, making it look effortlessly easy. So it's just interesting to watch the different routines. We've seen some players go from the chipping area onto the putting green to the first tee, whereas we just heard Charlie stand up at the range to do her routine that way. So the setup this week for the players as they prepare for their rounds, the range is the furthest away. Then they navigate towards the first tee and find the chipping area, then the putting green. So that's kind of the routine a lot of players will take. That's how I would have done things if I was playing this week. You just sort of edge your way close to the first tee and kind of build up towards the day. We're just watching some players on the putting green here. We had Steph Tiriaku on the chipping green not long ago, and she was on the putting green, and she obviously had a hole-in-one yesterday, so had a few less putts with a whole bunker shot on 18 as well. So it's just really interesting watching the different routines, watching the different techniques in the bunkers here, and there's so many people around. The people can pick up some tips just from watching.
Yeah, and the one thing, of course, they're the best players in the world. They make it look so ridiculously easy out of the bunker. Steph Tiriaku with the first hole-in-one at this championship since 2018. Georgia Hall had an interesting little conversation with Charlie. I mean, I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but she went over and she whispered something into her ear. Any idea what they were talking about?
No, they were keeping very quiet away from us, Marcus. But yeah, Georgia was complimenting Charlie on her outfit today, and Charlie's looking very sporty out there as usual. And yeah, it's going to be a great day, some great outfits in this beautiful weather.
OK, well, we're going to head off to one of the practice bunkers, and Flick's going to attempt the impossible to teach me to play out of the sand. So join us again a bit later, Kat.
Best of luck to Flick Johnson. She's taking on a mighty challenge there. We'll have teams around and about Royal Porthcawl over the course of the next hour before we head into the live coverage of Saturday at the AIG Women's Open. Delighted to say here on the range we've been joined by Louis Meadows, who's a golf influencer. You're also a coach as well. I've seen you around and about, looking very busy, having all kinds of pictures taken. I saw you come into the media centre the other day and you were pointing at a name and having your picture taken with a name on the leaderboard. What was that all about?
Well, 6 names, in fact, weren't there? Because there were 6 players right up there on the first day. But so good to see 2 players up there, Yamashita and Takeda doing well, but so different in terms of their playing style. But such a good combination going into these last few rounds. So
you are obviously a huge follower of Japanese golf. What is it? What's your connection to the Japanese game?
So I used to work in management and translator myself, so I worked with a few of the Japanese players there. And then, you know, had a lot of time out here just to get to know them, get to know the players, get to know the managers. And yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? It's interesting to see how they prepare, how they get ready, their discipline on and off the golf course, and just really looking forward to seeing how it pans out over the next couple of days. Discipline
and preparation can only be part of the story as to why we've seen Japanese stars, you know, as Sophie said, winning 2 of the 5 majors last year, Mao Saigo winning at the start of this year, and now we've got 2 Japanese leaders here. Tell us what they're doing in Japan. to produce this level of success?
What's the secret, and how can I get in on it? Yeah.
I think, to be honest with you, they've always had the discipline. They've always had the work ethic, but I think that's now been combined with really good physio work behind the scenes, really good nutritionists, really good pre-round preparation, and also, like you said before, the fact that other Japanese players are doing well. Miyazato, led the way. Then you've got Shibuno, now we've got Saigo. A lot of the other players thinking, actually, I played in a practice round the other day with them and I beat them, so I could probably beat them on the golf course as well. And I think that's exactly the way they're thinking.
And how about the interest in women's golf in Japan? Because it's all a cycle, isn't it? I feel like if the product is great, the audiences are big, the sponsorship is there, therefore there's investment in the game. Is that how it's working in Japan?
I think that's right, yeah. The women's game in Japan is definitely the biggest in the world. It's just huge. It's hard to even put into words how big it is, and that obviously brings money into the game. It brings interest, and also brings young players and young juniors looking at those women at the top of the game thinking, I want to be like them one day, and it's really inspirational, I think, for them.
Isn't it funny how we've had Hideki Matsuyama at the top of the men's game in Japan, but he hasn't had a whole host of Japanese stars joining him. But we do have this strength and depth in the women's game. Why is that?
I think one reason is because of the fact that in the men's game it's very much a power game, whereas in the women's it's not quite there yet, or it's not quite there. So I think a lot of the smaller in stature women on the ladies tour in Japan are able to come out and compete straight away. Obviously Takeda being an exception to that, being such a long hitter. But people like Yamashita, people like Saigo again, but not too big in stature, not going to overpower a golf course, but still able to compete just by kind of picking their way around, picking their spots, and managing themselves well around the golf course.
And obviously having a number of very competitive players drives that interest anyway over there. So I'm guessing, it's what people are sitting down to watch on a Sunday evening, if the LPGA concludes on a Sunday evening, as we're so used to in golf over here. Is that what people are doing with their Sunday evenings in front of the telly?
100%. Yeah, they'll be locked in, ready to watch their players, and there's a whole influx of players coming up as well in the next few years. So, there's a few here now, but just prepare yourselves. There's going to be another few coming in for the next few years. So it's really, really exciting time for women's golf in Japan, and the Japanese fans are absolutely lapping it up, as you can imagine.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Louis, what any insight into the decision these women have with when to leave the Japanese LPGA Tour, when to make the transition, specifically, I guess, to the LPGA Tour? Do they want to see results in major championships first? I'm sure people take different routes, but can you talk about what the decision behind when to leave Japan and come, ply your trade on the LPGA?
So I think before it was very much, they could stay in Japan or they could come abroad. It was very much, wasn't really sure where to go. I think now with, the prize money and things going up, the amount of ranking points you can get abroad, I think people are now looking abroad much more quickly. I think the only thing that some Japanese players struggle with is they stay in Japan for too long, and then they struggle to go because they settle in Japan. But what you're seeing now is younger and younger players going straight away, and because of that they're able to settle abroad. They're learning English. For example, the EY sisters, very good English speakers. I think that's helping as well, helping them get to know other players and get to know the tour.
And Randy was asking me, would I want a 3-shot lead? Tell us about Yamashita as a person, as a player. How is she going to handle being in this position?
I mean, she's a very focused individual. She's very disciplined. Her father's here with her this week, teaching her, just kind of showing her the ropes, and she relies a lot on him just to give her, the nudge and tell her what's kind of wrong with her swing. And I think, to be honest, going on to what you were saying earlier, I think she'll relish having a 3-shot lead. It's not the first time she's had it. She's won by 5 multiple times in the past, or won by 3 as well, so she's had these leads and she's been able to take advantage. The only thing is, against Takeda's actually 3 out of 3 against Yamashita.
Oh, really?
So that's could be an interesting one to see. Could that be a mental edge? Could that be something where, they go out together and, Yamashita doesn't feel as comfortable, but, going on to what you said, I think she'll feel very, very comfortable, and I wouldn't be surprised to see her stretch out that lead in the 3rd round.
And these conditions, obviously, she made such an incredible job of yesterday with that 65. Gentle winds again, the sun is shining. She's going to love it out there today, isn't she?
I think that's right, yeah. I think she is going to love it. But, forecast apparently the wind might get up, which will make things interesting. But again, it might seem like she's new onto the scene, rookie on this year on the LPGA, but she's been around for a while and she's played in a few, AIG Women's Opens as well. So she's quite acclimatized to these links conditions. So even with the wind, I think she might stretch it out a bit.
It's going to be so exciting to watch, isn't it? And if we look further down the leaderboard, just your take on the chasing pack, as a golfer yourself, there's a huge gulf, isn't there? 4 shots behind are the chasers, behind Takeda and Yamashita. So, what do they need to do today to get out there and make this harder for the Japanese stars? Well,
I mean, they're going to have a fast start. There's no doubt about that. 3 under through 5, 3 under through 7, something like that, just to put some pressure on the leaders. Takeda and Yamashita, of course, they're fantastic players. They're prolific winners. But that doesn't mean this isn't the biggest stage they've been on in terms of the position they're in and in terms of this real opportunity where it almost seems like a 2-horse race already. Sleeping on a 3-shot lead, sleeping on, being 4 ahead of 3rd place won't be easy for them, and something that they're going to have to, they've probably been battling with from last night. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. A fast start needed.
Yeah, when you talk about that, I've been watching a little bit of Drive to Survive recently, and it's almost like getting front of the grid at Monaco, isn't it? It's like, that's where if you go there, you should win.
Yeah,
and now we're talking about that. Well, with that lead, she's got something like a 66% chance of winning already. It's like, well, then how does that play on your mind? Does she think, well, it's mine to lose? Or does she try and spread the field and go and get even more birdies and come into tomorrow with a 6-shot lead?
And I think that's what's interesting. I would love to hear either of your perspectives on just what it's like, Miyu Yamashita specifically, the only bogey-free round we've seen in this championship thus far, a flawless round of golf. Just how difficult is that to wake up the next day and try to replicate?
I don't think you do try and replicate it, because that was yesterday, and the way you're going to win this championship is staying now. You can't look back, you can't look forward. We saw players having triple bogeys yesterday and the frustration that they had there and then. But it's how you get over it, how you get over those obstacles. And as a player, you know that it is only it's 72 holes.
Yeah.
It's not 36. And you have to stay away from everybody telling you this, because I've watched some fantastic golf this week, and one bad shot, the wind just catches it, and there you go. So you have to stay on your toes.
And how does Miyu Yamashita do that? What kind of thing does she do to block out that noise and to stay focused? What kind of personality is she? And what does she like to do away from the course to just, get away from the pressure of leading the Open?
Well, I think, like we said before, a family being here, her sister's here, mother's here, father's here, that's something that's going to be, a way for her to relax off the golf course. Admittedly, her father being her coach maybe isn't the easiest thing. She was saying in an interview yesterday that when she relaxes, she'll probably be talking about her game. But I think that's something that maybe is, as much as this is a major, as much as it's such a big stage, she's one of the hardest workers out here. I've seen her last one on the range, first one in the morning kind of thing. And I think that's the good thing. I think her relaxation is almost on the golf course itself. And I think that provides a really nice, foundation for her to be able to kick off without feeling like she's having to practice more or relax more or, have that on and off switch. I think she's always got that switch on, to be honest.
And I don't want to be stereotypical about it, but she's tiny. She's 4'11". Will that help her in the wind? Yeah, well, I was like,
You can't look at me. Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
You might be the expert in Japanese golf. I'm the expert in short golf.
Is that right?
Okay.
And then we've got Randy, who's the expert in tall person golf.
Right. Okay.
So Randy was saying that he agrees with Nelly Korda. Playing golf in the wind for him is an absolute nightmare because the wind blows you around, it sways, it messes with your rhythm and your swing. As a smaller in stature golfer, Sophie,
Specialist,
if you'll permit me.
Yeah.
Actually, do you think she'll cope better if the wind gets up?
The key to when you talk about wind is I hope I keep my rhythm.
Yes.
And that's what it affects. Luckily, Yamashita has that gorgeous rhythm. The same with Hyoju Kim, for instance. I was watching her in Scotland last week, and it's metronomic, and that's what you have to try and keep. And I suppose as somebody that is shorter, you have that feeling of being more compact. The club never feels too far away from you. The ground never feels too far away from you. So when you're thinking about playing in the wind and covering the ball with the chest, it does feel easier because we're so close to it. But there's a few players out there yesterday that would have played in the afternoon that swing rhythm might have been affected by that wind. Whereas, you know, these two that didn't play that, they haven't had the wind blow them away yet. So being shorter, I think it does have some advantages. However, Anna Nordqvist have won this championship, and Jie Shin's won this championship, and there's a bit of a difference in size. But that would be my feedback. You do feel more compact, and that club head feels closer to you. So with links golf, you have always got the fear that the ball's going to go away from its target. So if you can have that compact golf swing, keeping that club head close to you, it does feel better, and it's more natural than somebody that is taller.
It's all looking good, isn't it, for Miyu Yamashita? Louis, thank you so much for coming and sharing your thought and your expertise about Japanese golf. It's been a fascinating insight.
Thank you.
What does Saturday at the AIG Women's Open hold for you? What are you up to today?
So we're going to be taking lots of content of the Japanese players, as you can imagine, very, very busy.
Yes.
Maybe slightly more busy than we expected, but it's fantastic to see. And, you know, they've come along from a long way, you know, but they've really working hard, and it's great to see that hard work paying off, because they really are just professionals on and off the golf course, and it's just brilliant to see.
Well, let's hope you have a very busy Sunday as
Thank
well.
you.
Louis, thank you so much for joining us here on AIG Women's Open on 5 Sports Extra and on the RNA YouTube site. We're going to head out onto the golf course here at Royal Porthcawl.
Yeah, thank you guys. Cody McBride here, out with Richard Kaufman at the beautiful par 3, 8th hole. We found our way out here to a superstar grouping. Probably not the time that they wanted this morning, but defending champion Lydia Ko, as well as the great French woman Céline Boutier. Tee shots here at the 8th today, playing 122 yards, pin cut on the back layer, 3 tiers on this green. You need to fly it all the way back there today, Richard, in order to hold this green.
Yeah, and we're watching Lydia Ko send her tee shot on its way a little bit right of the flag. Oh, I should say right at the flag.
Wow.
Wow. We almost saw a hole-in-one with our very first shot of the day. Now, that would have been some introduction, Cody. That has bounced about a foot short of the hole, and a little bit of right side spin on it. Just took it around the right of the hole. It's no more than 10 inches from the hole right now. What a shot from Lydia Ko.
What a shot indeed. Lydia Ko with an absolute beaut there. So far today, she's 2 under, back to even par for this championship. Birdies on the par 4 4th, birdies on that last hole, the par 4 7th. Absolutely rolling, expecting to be able to brush that 10-incher in there.
I think even I can knock that one in from there. What's significant is, though, that we're looking at the flag and it's not moving. It's absolutely, oh my goodness, not another fantastic shot comes in for Céline Boutier. Unfortunately, this has just caught the slope a little bit and run away from the flag, but that was right at it as well. I suppose we've got 2 major champions, Céline Boutier and Lydia Ko. We should expect, especially in these conditions, for them to show off their amazing skills, and we've just seen that here at this par 3-8. Definitely 1 birdie, we might see 2.
Yeah, absolutely. 2, I think, coming up, right? So both of them 2 under on their round so far today, taking advantage of these beautiful conditions that we have. Not a breath of wind in the air. The sun is out. I see a lot of legs. I haven't really seen that the last 2 days here. Spectators gathering over on the right-hand side of this. It's such a beautiful sight on a Saturday morning when people are expecting to make birdies.
There is. There's plenty of stands here and plenty of little trucks for people to go and buy things. There's an ice cream one over there. That's going to do good business today with the weathers like this.
Well, maybe ice cream for us later, but we're going to cut here, get back to the team, and maybe come back out for some birdies.
Absolutely.
Yeah, bring us some birdies, but crucially bring us some ice cream, please, Richard and Cody. That sounds very good indeed. Sun out here on the range. We've just been watching the world number 2, Gino Titican, who is behind us here. She's got on some very long, stretchy yellow elastic bands, and they're attaching it to her legs. They're pulling her in all kinds of different directions. Absolutely fascinating, isn't it? how they go through the warm, and everybody does it differently. Beth Roberts has joined us, who is a golf influencer and content creator. Crucially though, Beth, you are Welsh.
I am indeed.
And that makes this a very special week for you, doesn't it?
It does indeed, yeah. I'm just so excited to have it here on home soil. Honestly, it's all I've been talking about for the last year. Everywhere I've gone, I'm like, do you know the AIG Women's Open is coming to Wales?
And what's everybody had to say, or your neighbours or your friends? You only live across the sea over here. We can almost see your house in Swansea, can't we?
You can see my house in
Did you
Swansea.
swim here? Across the bay?
That might have taken some extra effort. No, definitely didn't swim. But yeah, all my family are actually coming tomorrow. I've got friends here today. Yeah, just everyone's loving it. And friends who don't play golf as well. So they've come down, I guess, to support me and at the same time have a look at what's going on, because they're actually intrigued as well. Never played golf before, and this might inspire them to actually take up golf, which is great.
Obviously, you've been thinking about it for years since it was announced that it was coming to Royal Porthcawl, but now it's here. What have you made of the reality of it?
I walked in and I thought, where's Royal Porthcawl? What's going on? Especially the fan village. But what they've done is absolutely incredible. They've just kind of immersed it all. As soon as you walk in, you get to see the players up close and personal. And yeah, just what they've done with the place is spectacular. Got to play the Pro-Am on Tuesday as well. Obviously, extremely tough conditions and didn't play that great, but thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, just loving it, really.
Just tell us how it went for you. Any more detail on the Pro-Am?
On the Pro-Am, well, our team actually won. So I say...
Hang on a second.
I know.
The lead on it.
I know. Carlotta Saganda played with Carlotta and she made a hole-in-one on the 8th. So that was very impressive to watch. My first time I've ever seen an ace as well. So that was really cool. That probably helped. And I also played with Trey Niven, who sends it about 300 yards down the fairway. So that definitely helped as well. So I don't think it was down to me, but collectively as a team, we actually obviously played quite well.
Well done. I'm impressed. Randy, where was your win?
Well,
you were in the Pro-Am as well.
Yeah, well, with no hole-in-ones. I don't think any of us were sending it 350 down the fairway. Yeah, we lost that tournament before we started it, Kat. That was the problem there.
Very tough indeed. And for you, Beth, your modus operandi, the way that you create content, is that you took up golf 3 years ago, and you are trying to get to a 10 handicap, are you, by September? Is this the stated goal?
Well, because the way my kind of job and role is now, I'm kind of traveling so much, I don't actually get to practice golf. So
No
I basically
excuses, Beth.
set
Come on.
myself an unachievable goal to actually try and do it, because I thought, I'm a 24 handicap. If I say I'm going to be an 18, I'm just going to plod along like I have been for the last 3 years and nothing's going to happen. So I was like, right, if I set something really unachievable, I'm actually going to have to practice when I actually have downtime. So yeah, that is the goal. Struggling a little bit, but we are getting there. We're getting there.
And when you come here and look along the range, we've just been talking about Gino Titican's very extensive warm-up. We've seen Charlie Hull. She just walked off whilst we were listening to Marcus and to Cody, I think, or Richard and to Cody a little bit earlier on. How inspiring is it to come along and see how these guys do it, the very best in the world?
Yeah, honestly, I just love coming and supporting and watching women's golf. The way they play is just so inspiring. I sit there, watch them, absolutely mesmerised. I think I'm never going to get to that level, but it is just something to watch and something to actually look to inspire to get to. Yeah, I love it.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh,
we need
here
to
we
know
go.
where your handicap sits right now.
It is about a 22.
Okay.
You're looking at me like you're crazy.
Good luck. No, my real question is, what surprised you the most as you've begun this journey with your own game, or what you found maybe easier than you anticipated and certainly more difficult than you've anticipated?
With just my golf in general?
Yeah, with your golf journey.
I think just how hard the game actually is, especially when I first started. It was, just so frustrating. I'm like missing the ball, or it's constantly going right, constantly going left. I'm on a golf course, can't find my balls. I think it's just the whole frustration of it at the start. And now that I'm kind of 3 years in, I'm at the point where I can consistently get there and it's improving. I'm actually surprised by my short game. I think I've got a good coach. My partner's a pro, so that definitely helps. But he's been like, you've got to get that short game working. If you can kind of nail that, then you'll be one step ahead, hopefully.
Because I'll say, you come out to an event like this, they make it look so easy. And I truly think one of my favorite things when I come, especially the AIG Women's Open, just sit on the range. I really think just watching the golf swings, the tempo, the rhythm, I want to absorb that just via osmosis.
Yes.
I really think I go home and I feel like I have a little bit better tempo and timing and rhythm.
And pick a player that you can relate to, and then you can imagine their golf swing.
That's coming right now.
Gonna
There's
help.
Georgia Hall walking along behind you there.
Yeah,
Sophie.
pick your
How about
favourite
that one?
golf swing and then try and
I mean-
replicate that feeling. So
Nelly Corder's swing is just so methodical. I just look at it and I think, if you can look at that and go, whoa, that is goals right there, but
well, we learn so much from visualization and also looking. So
Yeah.
I'm all for that. I mean, Nelly apparently has over 1,000 of her own golf swings on her phone, so she's always taking it in.
So do you, Sophie. I've seen your phone.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a Nelly Corder stalker when it comes
But
to
you're
golf
doing
swing.
brilliantly, and I think that's what you need to remember. I mean, I played with you, must have been a couple of years ago
When I
at
first
Royal
started.
Troon when you first started, and now here you are, your handicap has come down. You talk about the frustration though, because the other thing that you're amazing at is encouraging other women to get involved in golf and to take up the game. How do you get them past that bit where they're like, this is just the most frustrating, annoying game and I'm never going to play it because I can't hit the ball?
Sounds like you're
That's Sophie plays a lot of golf with me, as you can tell. How do you get women past that and to the point where you can enjoy golf?
well, I actually did this is how I got into golf. I did a really good scheme called New to Golf, which Wales Golf runs, and it's free or like a subsidised amount of money all across Wales for women, and they can just go pick up a club and kind of enjoy themselves and get 6 weeks of free coaching, essentially. My thing to everyone is to do it as groups, because I feel like when you're working at it together, you can all kind of laugh at your mistakes together. You can all congratulate each other when you're doing well. So for me, that was a really big thing, having the support around me. So I tell anyone, if you want to take up golf, then make sure you're doing it with other people around you too.
Great tip. And Sophie, before we let Beth go, I mean, her partner is a professional, so she gets lots of advice. Have you got 3 tips
Yeah, come on.
to get down to 10? Because that's tricky.
Come on.
Yeah, 9. I want single figures.
9.
Yeah, I think.
So
I think
satisfying.
Let's go
single
bigger.
figures is the one. Well, firstly, I would just listen to one coach. So
Yeah.
if that is your partner, then stick to that, because a lot of people will be giving you opinions.
Yeah. No Instagram tips then.
No scrolling through Instagram thinking I'll try that. Stay off that. Limit the big numbers. Even in this championship, the players are talking about trying to keep a double bogey off their card, triple bogey off their card. So for you, you'd be thinking, I don't want to be try not to make
Double
worse
figures.
than like a double bogey or a triple bogey. Pick that number, and that's going to be my aim to not make those numbers. And putting, you mentioned about putting. If you can limit yourself to no more than a 3-putt, if you can knock those, you think one putt of this length is worth the same as that 300-yard drive that Trey said. So concentrate on that. So it's really helpful when you were saying the short game seems to be key. You can pick up so many shots on short game and you can lose them.
Sorry, just scribbling down some.
You need to get rid of the toe shank, Cat. We haven't fixed that
got
yet.
a terrible problem with the
I'll
toe
just
shank.
add, you talked about getting beyond the frustration. I don't think you ever get beyond
you
the
have to accept
frustration of
it.
golf. I think you once you learn to embrace it, that's when it gets really fun.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Just try and enjoy it.
Yeah, it's not, well, it's easy for us, isn't it? These guys, their entire living depends on it. That's a completely different
True.
kettle of fish, isn't it?
It's funny how people go, golf, it's really good for your mental health. Ask a few of these players down the range. It can be not good for your mental health if you're a pro, but in terms of doing it recreationally, it is.
Yeah.
Beth, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Get
you.
out there and
Thank you,
enjoy it.
guys.
We'll see you in September on a single-figure handicap.
Yeah, I'm so
I'll be
glad
checking the index.
Yeah,
we can go online.
the Welsh weather pulled through for you guys as
I know,
well,
just
which is
before
great.
we leave, I mean, some of us spend a lot of time in Wales, others don't.
Yeah.
I do.
Before Randy heads back to the States, what does he need to check out in South Wales before
You
he
have
goes?
to get a Joe's ice cream.
And where do I get that?
Swansea, Cardiff,
Okay.
but Joe's ice cream. But you have to go to the actual shop
Okay.
and
All
get
right.
the fresh stuff.
Perfect.
So good.
There's the tip. Joe's ice cream, Welsh cakes, Barabrith. I hope you've hit up all 3 of those.
Monday morning's going to be busy for me.
Monday morning's going to be busy.
I don't have much time, Kat,
You're going to have a very full belly getting on the flight back to the States. Beth, thank you so much. We're going to head back out to the course and to Richard and to Cody, find out where they are.
So after those wonderful tee shots A golden birdie chance, a gimme birdie coming up for Lydia Ko. But first, in her navy blue, it's Celine Boutier up the slope for her two at this par 3/8.
Yeah, par 3/8 is going to move from her left to right up the hill. Speed is going to be a concern here. Ball's on its way. She's staring it down. It just hangs on the left-hand side there. So no birdie here at the par 3/8 for Celine, but an easy tap in there for her three as she moves on to the gettable par 5 ninth.
But Lydia Ko surely is about to get to 3 under par for the round. Steps up, knocks it in nonchalantly. That's how good the tee shot was. A 2 for Lydia Ko, and the defending champion is now under par for this AIG Women's Open.
It's good to see Lydia Ko ticking along, isn't it? The defending champion. And Cody and Richard out there on the 8th hole, that beautiful little par 3, where we saw the Australian Steph Kyriakou slam home a hole-in-one yesterday. And she was just on the range a short time ago. She tees off at 11:55 alongside the Indian player Diksha Daga, who was also just hit. Oh, no.
Well, they've got to go, else they'll miss their time.
That's true. They've got a little bit of time before they tee off. But that was a great moment, wasn't it, yesterday? I've seen plenty of holes in one on the telly, obviously, but very few that just go straight in like that and disappear.
It was a proper hole-in-one.
Yeah.
You know, in an AIG Women's Open, she said it was her first one, and the way it did it, it was a hole-in-one pin. We said earlier, it's a bit of a funnel pin here on 8. It's 105 yards, grabbed a gap wedge, and just slam dunk, back of the hole. Outstanding.
Must feel amazing.
How many do you have?
10.
No, 10 holes in one.
Yeah, I've not had any in 2 years.
You must be the luckiest person in golf.
I'm working with you
41
two.
years.
No, there's a lot of professionals
Have you
that have
hooped
more
any?
than me.
Like
Slam
Steph
dunked.
did? Yeah.
Yes, in Australia, I slam
Nice,
dunked one.
nice.
Fabulous stuff. And that 8th today, how is
Let's have a
that
little look
looking?
at
What
it.
about? I'll give you a chance to look at the pins and the length and where they've put the tee box. You know, how do we think it's going to play today? Any holes in one in the offing?
No, we've got a bit of a back
I'll vamp
left
for a
pin.
little bit. I was doing a little research this morning. It is going to play a bit longer. I believe the actual yardage tee to green or tee to flag was 105 yards yesterday. It's 122 yards today. So that pin is just in the back. There's that ridge that cuts across the middle of the green as you're looking at it. And I believe that pin is sitting just in the back portion, but with a little slope if players want to get aggressive.
It's a figure of 8 green, so it's in the top O of that 8 and slightly to the left-hand side.
Let's have a look further down the leaderboard, shall we, here at the AIG Women's Open. So we've discussed our leaders a little bit earlier. Miyu Yamashita at 11 under par and Rio Takeda at 8 under par. Then there's a big gap of 4 shots back to those in a share of 3rd place. Lindy Duncan, Paraji Ananarukan from Thailand, Chiara Tambalili and Laura Fünfkstück of Germany. They are all on 4 under par. I think of the 4 of those, the impressive one that I wanted to talk about, Laura Fünfkstück of Germany. She was in the last group out yesterday, so she dealt with the very worst of the conditions. I was already sitting down eating a paella in the evening when she finished, and we were all looking at the scorecard thinking, where's she going to finish? How many players are going to make the cut? Because her score was important for that. To come home with a 71 yesterday as the last player out, when they're bringing in the bins behind you, that's impressive, isn't it?
I think massively impressive. She obviously, Sophie referenced earlier, 5 players out of the top 20 were in that early late wave. She was as late as you can get. I'm so curious to see how today goes for her. It's a name, I'll be quite honest, not overly familiar with before this week. And so I'm getting to see her in person for the first time. And man, I've been impressed, Sophie.
Well, Laura, kind of German player, shot onto the Ladies European Tour, and it was somebody that you were like, I think she'll be a winner. And she had a couple of seconds, and then got quite badly injured. Took nearly a year off with a bad back, and has come back. And when she came back, it wasn't there. She was very much just trying to find something swing-wise, and then it seems to have settled now with Laura. But she mentioned in her press conference it's been a while since she's been in this position. She Monday qualified, which is why her tee time was so late. I was impressed with her start. So her start on the very first round, she was a few over early on, and it could escalate, you know, that wrong side of the draw, but she got that back, and then yesterday rode on that confidence. So she shot 69 first round, then 71, and playing alongside Chiara Tambellini. Familiarity, both of them play on the Ladies European Tour. Tambellini is one that you really need to keep your eyes out for. She is a pocket rocket, firework. She has won the Ladies European Tour, Order of Merit last year, Rookie of the Year, won 5 times, and has spoken about feeling comfortable now in major championships. She had a good result at Erin Hills in the US Open, where she finished just outside the top 20. Now the major before, which was the Chevron Championship, she went there, walked on the driving range and just did not feel comfortable. And she said to herself and her team, "You've earned this spot. You have justified being here, so embrace it." And that was a turning point for her. And you can see with that score there, 71-69. So we're going to have a German and a Swiss player out in that third to last 3 ball. And it's great for the Ladies European Tour.
Yeah, they're both, well, Tambellini has been a star, hasn't she, for the past couple of seasons. Just hearing as well that Minji Lee, who is a major winner already this year, is going great guns today. She's at 4 under par for the day. She's moved herself up to 2 under par, so 9 shots off the lead. So that now means there are 10 players on 2 under par. They include Lottie Woad, the English star who won on her professional debut at the Scottish Open last week. Darcy Harry, the local hero whose home club is Royal Porthcawl. She's at 2 under par. Nelly Korda, the world number 1, is on that number as well. She goes out at 20 past 1 alongside Nasa Hataoka of Japan. We've got Andrea Lee in there as well at 2 under par. Esther Henseleit, a Solheim Cup player, another German player in there at 2 under par. And now Minji Lee has joined. There is a gathering pack. Which of that pack do you think is more likely to make a break today?
I was out with Minji Lee yesterday. She shot 4 over par, never made a birdie on that wrong side of the draw. Was hitting it left off the tee and finding these bunkers, and fair play for turning that around, because she was 2 under comfortably through 9 holes, and then we were on cut watch with the KPMG LPGA champion a couple of majors ago. And that shows the calibre of what we're looking at. That's the chasing pack, but the chasing pack needs to make the most of these conditions. We're on the range at 10 to 12 now. The flags are starting to flutter a little bit more.
I think they're fluttering less. Genuinely, I think that I've never seen them looking as
no, but it's starting to build. So you need to get through those.
We're trying to manifest.
You're going to get through those first 5 holes, post a number, and then go from there. And these players, the likes of Minji Lee that you were talking about, need the wind to be kicked up by 2 o'clock, which is the forecast, which is when those final 4 groups are teeing off.
We're going to come back to the chasing pack in just a moment. We're going to head back to the short game area as well. Marcus is waiting there alongside a familiar face, I'm told.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Kat. Beth Roberts has hot-footed it over from where you were, because she, as we know, is looking to get down to 10 by September. Key area of her game to work on is in the sand. So the great Flick Johnson is about to give us a fantastic demonstration. We have to be a bit careful because there are some significant performers not too far away, including Mimi Rhodes. So any shanks or thinning shots or anything else could lead to disaster. Not, Beth, that I'm trying to put any extra pressure on you.
No pressure at all in front of Mimi Rhodes. I'm not sure how this is going to go, but we'll see.
Well, you did just demonstrate a practice shot a few moments ago and hit it beautifully, so I've got the impression you're actually quite good out of the sand.
Well, in the Pro-Am, I did get it out of one of those big bunkers on 15, so that's my claim to fame with bunkers.
Okay, well, let's listen very closely, because Flick is in position. She's got the ball lined up. Now we've got 5 different flags to aim for. Which one are you going for?
I'll tell you after the shot which one I was going for.
I thought you would. Okay, right, so I'm just going to shove the mic in your face and you tell us what we have to do.
Okay, so we're going to describe the shot for a right-handed golfer to play at the bunker. So I'm going to start by opening the club face. So the club face is now pointing up towards the sky, which will mean it's aiming a little bit right as well. Then the important thing is, we were discussing this with Marcus earlier on, take your grip after you've opened the club face. If you do that, if you take your grip and hold the club, then move the club face, it's going to affect where it's aiming, and it's all going to go horribly wrong before you've even taken the club back. So open the club face as much as you want for the shot you have, then take your grip first, very important thing. Then we're going to step up to the ball, Just move into position a little bit more. So the ball position for this shot we're going to play, just a pretty regular bunk shot. We're not trying to hit it any higher or lower than normal. It's just a really regular shot. Ball sort of just forward in the middle of your stance. With your feet aiming, again, as we said, for a right-handed golfer, aiming a little bit to the left. Because we've opened the club face, that's pointing right. So we open the feet to aim left, so that counteracts. So it should go somewhat in a straight line. Weight slightly on your left side, 60%. Just going to get it, just to create a little more of a steeper angle into the back of the board. So I think that is the setup complete.
Okay, well that sounds good. Now put your words into motion, Miss Johnson. Hang on, she's got something else to say.
Yeah, then, so setup complete, we're ready to go. The back swing, we're going to swing along the line of your feet, so it's outside the line and swing along the line of your feet just to create a little extra height. And then we're going to see if this works.
Yeah, okay, stop prevaricating. This is the moment. She's shuffled her feet down.
Oh, yeah, wiggle your feet in.
Oh, wiggle the feet, yeah. Anything else you want to remember? Okay, wiggle the feet. She's wiggling very nicely, I have to say. And, oh my goodness me! It stayed in and she's fallen over. No, she's hit an absolute beauty. And obviously you were going for that second pin, weren't you?
Yes, as I said, that one. You know, I don't play much golf anymore. A little nervous doing this. That was one of the best point shots I've hit in years.
That was fantastic. Right, Beth, it is your turn. Has everything that Flick has said made sense?
Oh, absolutely. Some great instructions there. Thank you very much.
So no excuses if you make a mess of this.
Well, shouldn't be, but we're about to find out.
Okay, here we go. I'll get out of the way. I'm going to go a long way out of the way just in case. Oh, hang on, Flick. No, yeah, Flick's going to talk us through the technique.
Yeah, so just remember what we said. First thing.
Slightly to the ball slightly to the front of the foot. Wiggle the feet. Open the club face, but remember to grip it after you've turned it. And then when you're hitting the ball, come from a right to...
Swing along the line of your feet, which are pointing a little bit left. You've got this. Step out the way now.
And hit the sand, hopefully.
Yes, 2 inches behind the board is what we're trying to do, because you're not actually trying to hit the board, you're trying to hit the sand a couple of inches behind it, which is going to make it pop out.
Wait, this way.
Perfect. Here we go.
Oh, yes.
Great shot.
Well, we had a nice pop-up.
I've got to say that was even better than Flick's, which shows what an incredible coach you are. So if you need a short game lesson, Flick Johnson is your person. Well done. Good luck getting down to 10 by September.
Thank you very much.
Oh, we're doing brilliantly here in the sand. And we've got the sunshine as well. It's perfect. Kat, back to you.
She's well on the way now, isn't she, Beth Roberts, to that single figure handicap. She's got the sand, she's got the tips from Sophie. She's going to be absolutely flying.
I've just realised it's August, though, and it's September. But Beth did say, which she never mentioned here, so we must give her a shout-out for the fact. Whose birthday is it today, Randy?
Yamashita, our leader, turns 24 years old today.
And yeah, that was Beth Roberts with that fact.
Yeah.
So we have to give her credit for spotting that it's Mia Yamashita's birthday today. I wonder how she's celebrating, aside from focusing on a weekend round at a major championship.
These girls like coffee in the morning, don't they? They're all quite coffee connoisseurs, probably going to a nice breakfast.
Well, it sounds to me like the food here is phenomenal. Every
Birthday
player
cake.
I speak to says that the player food here is the best they've had.
I need a pass. Get me a pass.
Yeah, glowing reviews. I think the whole setup of the player locker room.
Yeah, they have a sauna, an ice bath, a warm-up room, a gym. They even have an area where they can chill out, get their nails done. It's tough, isn't it, being a tour pro?
Sounds great. I mean, if you could take the golf out of the equation, I would love that. If we're looking up and down the range here, we can see Patty Tavatanakit, a major champion. She has her coach holding a alignment stick to her head, which I'm assuming, Sophie, has something to do with keeping that very still.
Yeah, she's not getting hit by it. It's just by her left ear. So as she takes the club back, what he's trying to do is just keep her head slightly behind the ball instead of it leaning in to get a bit too in front of it on the way down, and then you can lose it to the right or get stuck and turn it left. Great golf swing though, Patty Tavatanakit. That's a group that I'd certainly go out and watch. Patty Tavatanakit and Gino Titican at 12:15 today.
12:15, Patty Tavatanakit at a level par. Gino Titican, who is also still on the range just here. She's been on and off with the jacket and the T-shirt. She's in between outfits.
There's a lot of players out here. I've just seen Georgia Hall look at her fiancé, Paul Dunn, as if to say, I'm wearing black and I'm wearing black trousers. I think I've made a mistake.
Yeah, Georgia Hall is standing next to Patty Tavatanakit further down the far end. I can't quite see who is down that way, but the range is getting busier. And I will give it to you now, Sophie. These flags are beginning to twitch. So you're right. Yeah, the wind is beginning to pick up as we head towards midday. Randy, you said when we were discussing this chasing pack, you picked out Chiara Tambolini, obviously, as one to watch. We've talked about some of those at 2 under par. This huge gang of 10 players now at 2 under par. Who's catching your eye from the chasers who could put on the burners today?
Yeah, somebody at 2 under par. I know we've talked a lot about her this week, but Lottie Wood, I think it bears repeating. You know, her triple bogey yesterday on 16, a bit of a freak occurrence. I don't think, you know, she drew a terrible lie, tried to advance it, ended up having to take an unplayable. I mean, really, without that kind of bad luck, let's call it, she's up 5 under maybe, and a lot closer to the lead. She talked about, you know, being able to, she thought she played really good golf, obviously, except for one hole. So I think she can take a lot from the way she's played. And I think she's also somebody that's going to come out and be very aggressive and look to make birdies. The other one I quickly wanted to point out was Madeline Sagstrom, who's at 3 under par. As Sophie astutely called, she has had experience at this golf course. In her younger days, she played competitions here. She's always up among the leaders in birdie percentage on the LPGA. She's somebody that can get hot and make a lot of birdies. So I'll be keeping an eye out for that.
We've only got a couple of minutes left before we head out to the live coverage on the R&A YouTube channel, on 5 Sports Extra and on AIG Women's Open Radio. But I'm delighted to say right at the end of our programme, Mimi Rhodes has joined us. Mimi, lovely to see you, and fantastic to see you playing so well here at Royal Porthcawl. How's it going? How have you found it?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been amazing it's my first one, so I'm really excited to have made the cut, and I'm up there on the leaderboard. I'm just trying to post a really good round today and just have a good finish.
1 under par. Tell us about yesterday and how yesterday was, because it was a day of 2 halves, wasn't it? Whereabouts were you in that when the wind got up to 35 miles an hour and everything just looked so difficult out there?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty calm when I started, but it kind of comes up on you gradually, so you don't really notice it until it's really gusting out there. I'd say on the back 9, starting on 10, it got really cold, and you kind of just have to mentally stay with it and just pick your targets out there, make sure they're small and commit to them.
Is this much more like it for you, the weather today?
Yes, this is lovely. This is what I've been waiting for. Get this nice outfit out, and hopefully it stays this warm.
Can you let us a little bit into your mindset today, how you balance being very aggressive, trying to make birdies versus, hey, I need to, not get overly aggressive and, a birdie chance could turn into a double or worse?
I mean, are you looking at these two, these 8 unders and 11 unders? Is that where you've got to see yourself, or are you thinking they might come back?
No, I like chasing, so I think that's a good target to chase for. 6-7 under round is out there today, definitely, if the wind stays like this, because those par 5s, they're reachable on the back 9 and front 9. So there are a couple pins that we have to be wary of and just hit the middle of the green and just try and not make that many bogeys out there, but bogeys are going to happen, so just stay patient out there.
And how are you enjoying professional golfing life after such an incredible start to your LET career with those 3 consecutive wins? I mean, people out here now know who you are after you blazed that trail.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. My family's out there and people ask me for my autograph, and my sister's like, wow, you're famous now. No, it's great. It's been a great start, and it's just nice that I could just start fresh as a pro, and there was no expectations, and I've just been enjoying it out there, having fun, and just making the most of this week.
Well, we'll let you get out there and enjoy it again today, Mimi. Thank you so much, and best of luck
Thank you.
Today. We'll let Mimi head out and go through her warm-up. Thank you very much, you two, for your thoughts. We've got Sophie Walker, part of our coverage here on AIG Women's Open Radio. Big Randy from the Low Laying Up podcast is also part of the coverage. We've got Marcus Buckland and Cody McBride. They're all out and about. Richard Kaufman is out there as well. I'll be heading out with the leaders later on today, so I'll give you a quick rundown of the leaderboard before we go. We have Miyu, Yamashita and Rio Takeda They go out at 25 to 3 this afternoon. Mia Yamashita on her birthday leading the AIG Women's Open at 11 under par. Rio Takeda at 8 under par, 4 shots clear of Lindy Duncan and Paraji Ananavrakan, and Chiara Tambolini and Laura Fünfkstück also at 4 under par. Live coverage coming your way on AIG Women's Open Radio and the RNA YouTube channel imminently.